What's going on, guys? LethalFlux here, and I'm here finally with an updated version of the Caius Rulers, otherwise known as Coderivas locally. His updated zombie deck profile, which is really ridiculous and it's really good. A lot of you guys have been waiting for this, and I'm proud to bring it to you. So without any further ado, let's get into the deck profile.
Alright.
For the main deck.
So I got 3 Pyramid Turtles. Okay. It's like standard now. And those guys allow you to go into pretty much every zombie that has 2,000 or less defense. So it brings out your big beaters and can combo really well. Okay. And then those guys really go into Endless Decay. And a lot of the time you bring this guy out at 4,000 because its effect is when it's summoned, pretty much normal summoned or special summoned, its attack becomes half of your opponent's life points. So even though it can be Veilered, when you summon it using Pyramid Turtle in the battle phase, it cannot be bottomless or anything like that. The only thing that can get around or stop Endless Decay is Warning. So it's just really good like that. So he's always like out there beating on your opponent. So he stalls for a lot. And then you got the 3 Zombie Masters. He starts off like a bunch of your combos, and you can just ditch like pretty much any monster in your hand that's just kind of dead. To get a monster from your graveyard that's a zombie and bring it back to the field and exceed. And you can always go off with them too with the cards that I run. I'll show you guys. So also, one of my new techs is Paladin of Cursed Dragon, because I run Zombie World in the main deck, and I have it pretty much almost all the time because I run a Terraforming as well. And what this guy does is when you destroy a monster on your opponent's side of the field by battle, you can summon this guy and then use its effect once per turn to special summon a level 4 monster from your opponent's graveyard that's a zombie, and special summon it to your side of the field. So as long as you destroyed it by battle, you can special summon it to your side of the field, and then you just exceed right into something.
With Zombie World on the field, right?
Yeah, you have to have Zombie World on the field. Unless it's a mirror match with the zombies, which really rarely happens, but yeah. That's why I have 3 Zombie World. Alright, then you got the 1 Mizuki, because he's broken. he like ramps up every single play that you do. And then you have another new tech, Bacon Saver.
Oh, finally a use for Bacon Saver.
Bacon Saver. It's really so good. Awesome. You seem to almost always have him, and he saves all your monsters all the time. Like, if your opponent's about to do something, and you have, like, for example, a cowboy on the field, and they're about to, like, go into battle and destroy it, you can just use Bacon Saver, save your bacon, and save your what do you call it, cowboy for the next turn and use his effect again.
That's awesome.
So it's really good.
Finally a use for Bacon Saver.
Yeah, and you can also ditch him using Zombie Master, or since he's the dark, you run Armageddon Knight, summon Armageddon Knight, and he's another target for it if you've already sent what you need with Armageddon Knight.
And then you can banish it to negate an attack.
Yeah, no, that's how you use it. You just protect your guys, yeah. And then you run 2 Goblin Zombies, because once you get these guys into the what I want to call rotation, pretty much in the graveyard, then they pretty much just keep coming onto the field, or you can keep bringing them up to set up into your hand, and then they're pretty much there the entire game. And your opponent probably doesn't want to get to banish one of these, even though it's a good idea, but like you run another one and there's better cards that they would probably want to banish. Okay, and then the main card that sets off pretty much like the most brokenest combos ever is Blue Bladed Oni, because its effect is to detach an Exceed material that you control from one of you guys. Send it to the grave as cost, and then you special summon a level 4 or lower zombie monster from your graveyard to the field. So you pretty much just keep doing it for themselves, and you're able to bring out 5 monsters.
Wow.
Like, it's just crazy. And that's 4 exceeds, right? And then you're always going to have 1 more spot to summon another monster or, do something with it.
So if you have like a Pyramid Turtle on the field, you can ram into something and get an
Endless Decay out with the 5th one.
Plus Endless Decay, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's really just, I don't know, I want to say dumb, but that's not the best way to put it. It's like really, really broken. And then at one point I wanted to test out the deck a little bit more, make it a little more faster, and all I did was I took out all the Endless Decay engine, the Pyramid Turtles and everything, and just focused on the Oni spam. Okay, and I decided or I was able to figure out that Armageddon Knight makes it a lot faster. Also, some people, hinted at me. They're like, "Yo, use Armageddon Knight." So I put these guys in. They work super well. You just send Blue Bladed Oni to the grave, activate Monster Reborn, Book of Life, whatever, and then Inferno, and you just go off. And that way, he's also an extra level 4 that's on the field, so you can use him as an XE material as well.
Sweet.
So, and you can also send Bacon Saver to the grave, Endless Decay, Monster Reborn, that thing at 4,000 or whatever. Anything above like 25, I believe, is viable. So yeah. And then we got 2 Summoner Monks.
Faster.
This makes it
as well.
Yeah, makes it a lot faster. You got a dead spell. You got 2 zombie worlds in your hand. Activate one, send the other one to the grave to get a blue-blooded Oni, and then just go Infernal Reckless, and you just spam again. It's pretty much like this one too. And the good thing is, zombie world's on the field, then he's another level 4 that you can use. And even if you have no zombies in the grave, if you have zombie world on the field, Zombie World makes it so that you pretty much do, as long as you have either used Armageddon Knight or Summoner Monk to bring out the Oni, then he's still a zombie, and all you need is that force zombie. You don't really need a zombie in the graveyard as with Zombie World on the field. So yeah, he brings it out a lot easier. So he makes it a lot faster. So you don't need to send it to the grave using like Full Bear or anything. And then some of my hand traps. I got 2 Max C to stop key plays or to draw from stuff, right? And then it also kind of gives your opponent like a mental stage of should I continue or not. So sometimes it stops them, which is good, and sometimes you kind of want that. So, and what's really good is like, against Gustos, if you're in like a winning position, you can purposely attack into them to have them special summon, and you just drop Max C before you decide to enter battle phase, and you just keep on attacking if you have a good amount of monsters on the field. And you just plus so much over that guy. And that's just Gustos though. But like also, everybody, it's good against windups and those kind of decks as well.
Anything that spam special summons.
Yeah, anything that's
6 Sams, windups, Gustos, whatever.
And then you got 2 Veilers to stop really key plays. And that way, it's just kind of like a 1 card out to some things. And that you have to run these guys because otherwise there are cards where you would not be able to stop if you didn't have Veiler. So that's why I run those. Like, for example, like with I'm trying to think of a really good example right now, but it's kind of hard because I'm just thinking about my deck right now. But yeah, you guys probably can figure that one out. Then I also run 1 Tragoedia and 1 Gores. I run 1 of each because sometimes 2 Trags is a little bit too much, it gets a little cloggy, and with the Trags you want to keep cards in your hand, and sometimes you need to just let loose. So sometimes he's not the greatest option, but he is good because you can just attack into using a Perpetual. You can attack into your opponent's monster and then drop this guy and get an instant KO at the same time. And he's also good because you can change his level from what it is to rank or level 4. So then you can go off or make like a good exceed play with him as well. And Gores I like because it it stops and brings another token, so you get 2 monsters for 1, and you don't need cards in your hand to keep his attack up. He's already got 27.
Sweet.
All right, and then for the spells, I got 3 Zombie World, okay? And so like I said, this also stops a lot of the meta, like essentially like Dino Rabbit, Dino Fist, a lot of those things. I also run the 1 Terraforming to speed it up because this is a pretty dense deck.
How many cards was the main deck?
You guys could probably count online. But yeah, it stops Dino Rabbits from like exceeding and all that stuff, because they go into dinosaur monsters, but they're obviously not going to be dinosaur monsters. They're going to be zombies. And with Fire Fist, it stops all of their back row from activating, except for the stable back row. But if they run any of the back row traps that need a Beast Warrior on the field, then it stops all of those plays. So there's no attack boost gain either, so it makes it easier to destroy their monsters. And it also allows you to go off a little bit easier, so it makes playing more smooth for the zombie player. So that's why I run these. Okay. Oh yeah, it also stops dragons, and they're gonna be big in not too long from now, and they're still played occasionally. All right, and then the thing you must run is 3 Book of Lives, because this is another additional way to special summon a zombie from your grave, and then it banishes key cards like Grapha. Just really key cards in your opponent's graveyard that this guy will get rid of. If you're playing against 6 Samurais and their Shien is in the grave, or the other one, Great Shogun Shien, you just banish those guys, get them out of the way. Beast, Barkion, who knows, just get them out and bring out your own guys. And then obviously this card combos really well with Inferno Reckless as well. And Inferno Reckless is really good. You bring out Blue-Blooded Oni using Book of Life, Monster Reborn, Zombie Master, what else is there, Summoner Monk, or you send it to the grave using Armageddon Knight, and then you go Monster Reborn or Book of Life or any of the other ones, and then you go Inferno Reckless. You bring out all 3 and you proceed to OTK. Like, this is how it goes. With Summoner Monk though, and the other one, if you have no other zombie monsters in the grave, you have to have Zombie World on the field to OTK. But other than that, normally you get it out at least turn 2 with another zombie in the grave almost all the time.
Sweet.
So yeah, this is just like the main thing that you want to do. And anybody that runs zombies, if you listen to this tech right here, you will understand why you guys want to run this. This gives you a 2-card combo to OTK. Like just 2 cards. That's all it takes.
And a zombie in grave or blue-blooded Oni.
Blue-blooded Oni.
And which is easy to get out because you got the Armageddons, you got the Foolish Burial, you got the Goblin Zombies to ditch them with the Zombie Master.
Yeah, exactly.
So pretty easy to do.
And Goblin Zombie is always going to be out there bringing Zombie Masters to your hand. That's just how it works. Alright, so that's like the main cards right there. And then you got the Foolish Burial to send Mizuki to the grave. That's pretty much the only card that you really want to be sending. Well, I mean, it's not the only card, but it's the main card you want to send to the grave with because he's an Earth. So you can't send Mizuki to the grave using Armageddonite. So that's why you want to normally send it to the grave using Foolish Burial. But when Lavalval Chain comes out, it's just going to be... You're just going to be able to use Lavalval Chain anyways. And then you got 1 day apiece. And the reason why I run 1 day apiece, even though it's more than 40... is because what this allows you to do is if you're top decking and you draw into this, or you just need like an additional turn, you just play this, you get pretty much a free turn, and since it replenishes yourself, you get a 2nd card, and then when you draw into your next turn, you get 2 cards. So like I said before, to go into like an ultimate combo, you need Infernal Reckless and something to special summon a blue-blooded Oni. So what this does is, replenishes your hands, gets you a card, so let's say Infernal Reckless, and then you draw into this, Zombie Master, anything else, you name it, and you can always do a playoff with 2 cards. So that's why I run the 1 day apiece in there. And then you gotta run, two MSTs.
Standards.
Yeah, they sometimes, they just come whenever you need them, essentially, and you don't want to just randomly use these, you just use these when you need it. Like, if your opponent has something face up that you need to get rid of, or if they only have 1 back row and you're about to OTK, you just use that then. And those are really the only times that I use them. And then you got the Monster Reborn, Heavy Storm, and Dark Hole. They're like
the Trinity.
The Trinity. They ran in like every single deck because they're game changers every time. And then for the traps, you run 2 Bottomless, 2 Mirror Force, and 2 Torrential. They come
self-explanatory. Yeah,
they come in handy so much, and I like mass removal way more. So if I can get rid of the entire field and then go off, Torrential's there, and Mirror Force is always there to protect my monsters and get rid of theirs. And Bottomless is to get rid of key guys and remove them from play, so I don't have to worry about them anymore.
Great.
And then for the extra deck here, I run 2 Maestros, and the reason why I want 2 Maestros is because, it's a really good card, and then people always think you used your Maestro, so then I don't have another one, I just bring out the other one, and they're like, oh, dang, you run 2 Maestro? It's like, yeah, of course. Like, this guy's too good. Like, you can use his effect to keep him alive by just detaching a material, and he flips things face down. Like, this is just too good not to run 2 of. And, he gets around a lot of things, because not everything has more than 18 damage defense.
Yep.
And then I run 2 Papillas, because just like my stroke, it gets around a lot of things. Pretty much has the same effect, just opposites. So instead of flipping face down, flips face up.
You could kind of combo the effects, right? So you use my stroke and then Pappy to hit the attack to something lower.
Yeah, exactly.
Run over and even do damage.
Which I do, pretty often, not a ton.
You could,
like
if you're pushing for game, and you only need a little bit of damage. I can see that.
And the 600 attack loss is permanent, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. So this card gets over a lot of things, anyways. And random Spirit Reapers. You just hit this with the Spirit Reaper, and the Spirit Reaper dies automatic because it loses the 600 after it gets flipped up. And also reveals Marshmallows and everything, so you don't have to take that 1,000 damage. And then you run the 2 Corns, pretty much because of the same thing, because of these guys, it gets around a lot of things. Zen mains actually will destroy Marshmallows. If you're playing against a Monarch deck, they draw Battle Fader. They might not take the 1,000 damage, but you can get rid of the Battle Fader, so they can't tribute the Battle Fader. Right? And then, and this also surprises people too, just like the Maestro. It's like, oh, you run a 2nd Corn? Like, dang, I thought I was safe. Yeah, and then I run 2 Gemini Pearls.
Good card.
Ophion. Gets over Ophion by 50. Which is pretty crazy. And also, you bring out 4 Exceeds, but normally the first 2 Exceeds are going to be dead. Normally they have 0 materials under them because you
Which
keep
is when this
detaching
comes
all
in
that.
handy because it has no effect.
Exactly. It has no effect, so you don't really have to worry, and it has 26 100 attack, so it's just a really big beater on the field.
Sweet.
So yeah, and that's only if you go into the Oni combo without having other monsters on the field.
Great.
And then you have the 2 Violent Sigmas, because they get around a lot of things, because all they do is equip monsters to it, and then it becomes a catastrophe for that dark type. So you can equip a Grapha and destroy a Grapha without needing to worry.
Good in the Mermail matchup.
And it's really good in the Mermail
Anything that
matchup.
runs just one attribute.
Yeah.
Fire Fist, Mermail, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Just like everything, really. And it gets around a lot of stuff. There was, some disputes between rulings with this card, but, it's all good. It
Regardless, it's really good.
Yeah, exactly. It's just too good. All right, and then you go number 39, Utopia. Okay, to protect all your monsters, so they don't get destroyed by battle. So you can use their effects once again in the next turn, and then you run the 139 or C39 Utopia Ray, because you can overlay the Utopia, and then you can just detach the material to use with Blue-Blooded Oni or something like that if you really need to, and that way he doesn't get destroyed by battle by his effects, so then they can destroy another monster you control. Okay, and then you run the 1 Cowboy, because this thing can just game your opponent
good
with
card.
its effect, and
It's pretty much a staple at this point.
Yeah, and it pretty much it gets over anything that's lower than 3K, and it crashes with a 3K monster.
Sweet.
And then you run the 1 Abyss Dweller.
Good
I'm
card.
thinking about bumping this up to 2, because I've been facing so many Mermail card or decks. I just think this is too good, because they are the best deck of the format apparently. So you might as well play this at 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you run the 1 Shockmaster for when you're going for game. It's game. They only have back row.
Call traps.
You call traps.
Yeah.
Just all the time. Traps. Unless you're going against like the random what is it called? Empty jar decks, and you go for spells because you don't want to flip everything face down.
Just the random decks like Exodia or.
Yeah, exactly. Because you don't want them to, obviously win next turn. So yeah, that was the deck, guys.
I do have a question.
Yes.
So, when the Levolvo Chain comes out, what do you plan on cutting for the Levolvo Chains, and how many do you plan to run?
Okay, so that is a hard question for me right now, because even though I've been thinking about it, I haven't really figured out what the best ratio would be and what to really take out, because everything right now is kind of at the staple level essentially. But I might take out 1 Gem Knight Pearl, but at the same time I feel like I need to keep it just because of Ophion.
Yeah.
So
I'd take out a Pappy, to be honest.
I was thinking of taking out maybe 1 Corn and 1 Pappy, because my sugar is still really good, because I can just sit it there. It might get destroyed, but I could just detach, so I still have 1 material under it, or something like that. And it's really good against Dark Holds too. But I mean, Violent Sigmas, I need those guys, because you go into the combo quite often, and you don't even need to go into the combo to actually get this guy out. And then the Utopia Ray or Utopia and Utopia Ray are pretty good. I might take out the Utopia Ray, but I don't know. I really like him because I just overlay and then I just detach. And with the Cowboy, you have to run him. Abyss Dweller, you have to run these guys. And of course him. So it's really hard for me right now.
All right, well, we'll get to it, man.
Back to
Once Hidden Arsenal 7 comes out, I'll give you guys another deck profile with the Levolvo Chains, because I'm sure it's going to change a little bit, right?
Oh, yeah. It's going to change a bunch, because I'm going to be putting in Go-Go's. The Go-Go engine, because you can easily send them to the grade, because the golems aren't dead in your hand.
Sweet.
So yeah, it gets a lot faster.
All right, you guys.
There's a new LTK with it too.
That was the Caius Rulers, otherwise known as Cody Rivas and the locals. That was his updated zombie deck profile. So like, comment, and subscribe. I'm glad I can finally get this video out to you guys. This deck is really awesome, and it doesn't see a lot of play when it should. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, guys. Peace out.